Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another Married at First Sight review. It is Wednesday night, so you already know it's been some foolishness going on. But before I get into it, I just want to say this. I want to thank you all for the encouraging words that you left me this morning. I was having a bit of an issue with some trolls trolling my channel, but honey, I'm just thinking, when you popping, here they come. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stay as humble as possible, but some of them actually hurt my feelings. And there were also some people that are on my channel each and every week commenting underneath my Married at First Sight reviews that have always been people that I have been very inviting to, and some of them were very ugly. And for those of you that did that, you know exactly who you are, and honey, you shall be blocked. Now let's get into it. All right, so we start out with day 24 of marriage. We see Clara and Ryan. They're binge watching shows, honey, because we know they ain't getting it popping. Then we see Hayley and Jacob. The dog's still fighting, so you already know. Virginia and Eric laying in bed. Okay. And then Vincent and Bree smiling after Hurricane Vinny. Okay? I just gave him a name, child. So when this episode first opens up, we see Virginia and Eric. Virginia is sitting there checking her emails on her laptop, and so Eric comes in to talk. So Virginia starts asking him questions about passwords. And so she was like, well, do you want to share passwords? And he's like, phones or banks or social media? And he's like, because you can look at my phone right now. And Virginia was like, no, I mean, there's other things besides banks and social media. So then Eric was like, well, it depends. I'm like, oh my goodness, boy. First of all, we know ain't nothing in that phone, child, because you don't look like nobody that anybody will want to talk to on any given day. Secondly, I'm side-eyeing you after this whole entire episode. Third of all, child, don't be trying to share no passwords with him. He already controlling enough, honey. Get your own separate passwords, your own separate bank account, your own separate everything. Eric cannot be trusted. Let's move forward. So then they start talking about text messages. And so then he's like, well, I don't really want you texting with guys. And then she asked him about social media and if she could like ex's pics. And he was like, no. Okay. He's like, no, you can't be friends on there. I'm like, dang. Okay, to a certain extent, I kind of understand, because with the exes, it could kind of blur the lines and you are married. But at the same time, I've been in a relationship like that where he's like, no, I don't want you talking to the exes or being friends, even on social media. And looking back on it now, that was kind of a red flag. So I don't know, Virginia girl. I'm just saying, child. So then Virginia was like, well, I need to decide if I'm pissed about this or if I'm just going to forget about it. Girl gone, honey. You gonna forget about it because you're gonna be drunk. So therefore, that takes a little bit of your memory away, child. Gone. So then we go over to Bree and Vincent. Dr. Viviana shows up. About time. Nice dress, girl. Where you been? Child. Sitting up here, got Paige hanging out in Auburn. Jacob feeling done up, honey. He's being revamped and new clothes being put on him every other day. She dressing him up like a Ken doll, and you've been missing. Nice to see you, child. So she shows up over there. Vincent ankle's still out, child. Honey, he gonna wear some high water pants if he don't do nothing else. So Dr. Viviana says, how have you guys been doing? Of course, they always give those answers. We've been doing great. Girl gone, boy gone. Y'all have not been doing great. So Dr. Viviana says, well, how do you show each other how great you're doing? So he says, we're silly and that's our biggest thing, baby. Dr. Viviana said, that ain't what I heard. Okay. Listen here. That ain't what we heard either, okay? And we've seen you act a fool for 2 consecutive episodes now. So that ain't what we heard either, Dr. V. That is not what we heard. So Bree starts to tell her the story about the champagne thing. So she's like, Vinny came out with the champagne. He wasted it. And then he wasted some on his clothes. And I was trying to be, as nonchalant about it as possible. I made a little joke. It was lighthearted, but, he didn't take it that way. So she was like, I have to learn, the cues and what he doesn't like. So then Dr. V asks Bree, well, what do you mean by that? So here come Vincent. Well, I understand that, but I'm not delicate. I'm not a 7-year-old. We know you're 3. Child, a 7-year-old is more mature than you be acting when you get upset. Boy, gone. So Dr. V asked about the salsa class. So Vincent said, well, I felt bad because I wanted to look good and be good at it, but it really wasn't my thing. And so Dr. V says she's noticing he's trying to impress Bree. And when life gets in the way, he gets a little bit upset. So Vincent was like, yeah, and plus I gained some weight and my shirt was too tight, so I was a little bit upset. Look, it doesn't matter if you look like the Michelin Man or not. You still don't need to be going off the deep end because this girl is trying to do something nice for you. Boy, gather your thoughts and your mind and get yourself together. Sitting up there talking about your shirt was too tight. Well, we knew that when you got in the car. If you knew your button was about to pop, you go in the house and put another shirt on. Child gone. So he apologized to Bree and says, and Bree was like, well, I like your quirks and I don't want you to try to impress me. I want you to be yourself. So then Dr. Viviana was like, you're not perfect. And it's okay if you Champagne Vinny and you ain't Champagne Poppy. Dr. V, let me find out. Okay. I'm like, not Champagne Poppy, honey. He could never be Drake. You know why? Because Drake would not be acting like this. Drake is a very sensitive soul. He ain't got time to be acting up because his shirt's too tight, his ankles are out, and he's bad at salsa dancing. That's not Drake, honey. Y'all gone. Anyway, then we go over to Chris and Paige, or just Chris, or just Paige. Child, I don't know who it is. We go over to these two people. And so we see Paige, and she's like, the last time I saw Chris, we decided to be amicable, but I've called him and I've gotten the voicemail. You got the voicemail as much as he stay on that phone? Girl, every time he's in a scene, he's on that phone. Child, so you can't get in touch with him, but that ex can get in touch with him? Girl, goodbye. So then she's like, there's been no movement. It's been movement. He moved right the hell on up out of that dang on neutral apartment into his own space. Where does he even live? He lived with that ex. Girl, gone. So then she was like, and so I called Dr. V for help. So then Paige sitting on the couch looking lonely in them same jeans that Chris had on last episode. They sharing clothes now, child. So you can't get enough of him that you got to go and share them jeans. That's some same ripped up Fashion Over jeans he had on last time. Girl, you little weirdo. So then Chris shows up in his color blocking hoodie, saying what he always does. What up, yo? Halfway hugging her. Oh, he couldn't touch me. Okay. Oh my goodness. I would get mad and slap his face every time I thought about him. Oh my goodness. So he acting like he didn't just play Houdini. Boy, you've been missing since this last encounter that we had. But that's what he does. He dangles the carrot in front of her, and this little bunny rabbit goes over there and takes a bite, and then he takes it back. Come on, Paige. Gosh, dog. Oh my goodness, child. I'm not finna let them worry me. I mean, they are worrying me, but I'm trying not to let them worry me, okay? Ooh, child, let's move forward. Stay with me. So then Chris shows up, gives her a little halfway hug. Of course, I already told y'all he couldn't even touch me, child. He acting like she one of the boys, giving her that little sideways hug. And is that Paige hoodie? Child, still in her clothes and still in her heart, child. Because I know that could not be your clothing. But then I looked down, he had the pink shoes on to match. Child, I'm not finna play. Okay. So Paige says, you look nice and cozy. Paige, no, he doesn't. What you should have said is, have you been in my closet? Oh my God. Y'all know I'm crazy. He didn't look nice. He looked like a 12-year-old girl that just got dropped off at the mall. Girl gone. So then Chris said, well, we need to revisit the conversation. And then he was back on that phone. He's on that phone right in your face, but he's not answering the phone when you call. You going straight to voicemail. And you probably left a voicemail too. Hello, Chris. This is Paige. Remember, we reintroduced ourselves and we reset last week. You remember? Could you mind giving me a call? That's how crazy you are. Child, that's probably not what happened, but it's a scenario I made up in my mind. It sounds like something she would do. Stay with me. So then, after that, then Dr. Viviana knocks on the door. Instead of him being a gentleman and getting up, he goes, this your house, yo. Oh my God, he is so disrespectful even in his speech. I understand that this is her home, but the least you could do is say, would you like for me to get it? I mean, y'all are pretending to be married. Little weirdo. Anyway, Dr. Viviana comes in her cute dress. Girl, go sit on down, child. Trying to see if there's some hope. It ain't no hope, child. So then she tells Chris, I barely know you because before and now you're so different. Yeah, he's a con artist, honey. He conned y'all to get on the show. So he showed you his representative in the interview, as you do when you're trying to get a job. And then once you get the job, you get in there and act a fool and ask for your sick days right away. That is what Chris did. We all know that, honey. Lie on the resume, claim you know how to do an Excel spreadsheet. You get in there, you don't know what's going on, so you get lost. You start lying and trying. That's exactly what Chris is doing. Child, Dr. V, girl, call me so we can do an interview, honey, so I can tell you what's exactly going on. Here go Chris. Well, pre-wedding back in 1992. Boy, I do not want to hear anything about your autobiography. Just tell her that I felt differently before the marriage than after. So then he's like, after the marriage, I was pretty depressed because of the baby news. Mercedes, honey, you and your Fashion Nova dress, I hope that you are listening to him say that he was depressed after he found out about your imaginary baby. I just hope that you're listening to this. And if the baby is true, don't y'all get all sensitive down in the comments talking about, well, he showed the bracelet. Honey, I'm going to show y'all my chart tomorrow. Girl, I ain't got no time for that. So then Dr. V asked Paige, she was like, well, how do you feel? She's like, it's like I'm living in a nightmare. Well, he does remind me of Freddy Krueger, honey. Nightmare on Elm Street, child. He does remind me of him. So then Dr. V was like, so why stay in the marriage? This girl said, it's what God would have me to do. Child, let's skip that. I ain't got time to be playing with God because I'm not trying to get strike down, okay? I'm getting my blessings. I ain't got time to be playing with God. So then she asks Paige what she wants. And Paige says, well, I'm simple. Well, duh. We know you're a simpleton. She's asking you, what would you like out of the relationship? Child, we know you simple. So then she's like, I just want to talk on the phone. Maybe a text. Oh, man. I was really about to just go in on her right there. But the fact, y'all just listen to that. I would just like a phone call, maybe a text. Like, how low do you have to be to say I want a simple phone call or a text from my husband, from your own husband? Oh, my goodness, child. I'm going to get ready to go off on Chris, honey. Y'all just hold on. Hold tight. So then she asked Chris what he wants. He said, well, I don't want to feel pressure. I don't want to feel forced. Sounding like he needs some type of speech classes. Oh, crazy boy. So then Dr. V says, well, this is the least forced thing you could ever get. I mean, this is the least forced thing you could ever be in. Boy, she letting you do whatever you want to. Run all over, come and go as you please. Introduce her to your child's mother, the fake mother of your fake child. You sit down, she's willing to, she told the girl, oh, I would like to be the step parent of your child, even though my husband, who is not my husband, doesn't want to be my husband, said that he doesn't want me anymore. I would still like to be involved in your child's life. And then she goes back and says the child doesn't exist. Honey, this is the least entangled you will ever be. You can do whatever you want. Boy, you're just saying anything. Now, you clearly are not listening. You're listening to respond because that makes no sense. So then she was like, well, even if you can't call, then, just maybe a text. And so then Dr. V was like, well, you may need to have a different conversation. So then Chris feels like, he says, well, I don't feel like my heart is in this. Well, then why do you keep asking to meet up with her? Why? Like, I don't understand this. If your heart not in it, it's like he wakes up one day and he says, you know what? I think I want to try this with Paige. I mean, she ain't that bad looking. Then the next day, he's like, I think I made a mistake. And then he does it all over again. Oh my God. Okay, wait, I got to take a break, y'all. Oh, Paige says she feels like she's back in grade school. I do too. And that outfit that he's wearing is indicative of the 7th grade. So that may be why you're feeling a bit of nostalgia because of the way Chris is dressed with his broccoli head ass. Okay. She's like, I'm frustrated because I don't like to waste my time. Stop saying that. You do like to waste your time. And Paige, now, listen. Now, my empathy and sympathy for you is the glass is all the way almost empty. Okay. But at the same time, you keep repeating, well, I don't like to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. That's not true. You're just saying what you've heard on TV. You're saying what you think a bad bitch will say. You're not a bad bitch. You're Paige. So just say, you know what? I'm going to keep putting up with this because I think this is the only thing that I can get. And right now I'm in this situation and I'm trying to see my way through. Just be honest with us so we can help you. Girl, child. So then Paige says, well, what do you feel comfortable with? He said, hang out, go to dinner, talk in person. So you don't want to send a random text, but you want to hang out and go to dinner. Child, it's so ass backwards. I don't know what's going on. So Chris said it's sad because it's so confusing. Yes, it is sad and it is confusing. Barefaced and confused, child. Yes, it is. Paige says, well, what are we doing? So then Dr. V said, I don't know. What are we doing? Honey, I'm asking too. I don't know. What are we doing, baby? That Dr. V a little snappy one, child. And I'm like, yeah, what are we doing? But you know what? I know. Pick me. I got to tell y'all what we're doing. Wasting our damn time. That's what we doing. Wasting our dang on time. That is what we are doing. I'm glad we had this conversation. Now we all know what we're doing. Girl, leave him and his Forever 21 hoodie alone. Girl gone. So, child begging from a phone call from a man that looks like his parents were cousins. Child gone. Mouth all twisted up. I'd rather do it in person. Boy gone. Child. Little weirdo. Then Dr. V starts talking about something. Honey, stop trying to encourage her to stay with Chris. Stop trying to encourage him to call. Walk out just like Pastor Cal did. Take a page out of his book. He said he could not endorse this marriage, and you should not either. Get up and walk out, child. That's it. We're done. Bree and Vince. Bree says if so they're playing this game. Is this the part where they play the game, child? I don't know. Bree and Vince be doing all kind of stuff. So Bree was like, she brings in this thing that looks like it has lottery tickets in it, and she pulls out this little card, and she says, if I could change one thing, what would it be? And then she was like, when we shower and you get in and it hits me in my mouth. No, the one thing that you should change is him having those temper tantrums. Girl, I know you scared to say that, but I'm at the same time, that's what should be said. Then we go over to Jacob and Hayley briefly, and they had a question. How can we make our sex life better? Honey, have it. That's all I got for you on that. Have it. Okay? So then we go over to Clara and Ryan. Oh my goodness. So they have some questions. And so then Ryan says the thing that would make it harder to be intimate would be, honey, everything. Everything. He says trust. Boy, you know you trust that girl. You just do not want to have sex with her. I don't know what it is. I mean, Clara liked to lie. So she told Dr. Viviana, you're not a virgin. So, I mean, what else could it be? I don't really understand. Clara says it's his world and she's just along for the ride, or lack thereof, honey. Not making a joke at your own non-sexual expense. Child, okay. So Ryan says, how would you like me to initiate sex? Initiate sex? How you gonna ask a question about how she would like you to initiate it when you ain't never initiated in the initial place? Boy, be quiet. So then she asks, what is your favorite sexual position and why? Child, Ryan started clamming all up, looking all goofy like a little boy in the 6th grade, talking about take it as it comes. Ryan, you ain't never had sex before, honey, because you would have said missionary, reverse cowboy, honey, bend over to the front, touch your toes, wrap your hand on it, and get low. I mean, you would have said something. You're saying nothing. So right now, it's giving very much 40-year-old virgin. I'm just saying. Child, he may be a virgin. Child, I ain't got time for that. Clara said he gets so uncomfortable talking about sex. He don't get uncomfortable dropping them drawers for you to work them jaws, but he gets uncomfortable talking about sex. Okay. So then she's like, the most uncomfortable thing was getting out of my last relationship. And here go Ryan. Sure. Yeah. Figuring things out. Sure. Yeah. And also, he only gave me sex like 3 times a year. And so I wasn't, desired at all. And I'm like, sounds like history is repeating itself, child. So Clara been without sex for 3 years, and then she come over to Ryan, who don't want to give her sex either. That has got to be hard. Feeling desire is important. Like, I mean, I don't know. So then she tells Ryan all of this, and he over there, sure, yeah, sure, yeah, sure. Boy, be quiet and drop them draws, child. Now listen to me. I may joke, but she's not entitled to his body. But in a way she is, because as his wife, I mean, you're supposed to have sex with your husband and or wife. That is a part of your covenant. So, I mean, I just don't know what to say, child. I don't know. Ryan just seems so guarded and inauthentic. It's something about him that screams, I want to portray perfection when that's not who I really am. Clara, tell Ryan straight up, and don't settle for, sure, yeah. No, tell him straight up, listen, I don't feel desired by you. I had the same issue in my last relationship. Those things have got to change. I am giving you what you need, but I'm not getting anything in return out of this relationship. Something has to give. Like, you have to give it up. Tell him, girl. Child, listen, because I know y'all watching these reviews. Ryan, honey, Clara is unhappy. She is unhappy. It is written all over her face. Her spirit seems a little broken. She seems a little bit more downtrodden. She's not as upbeat as she was when we first were introduced to her. She is unhappy. Crazy little boy. So then we go over to Paige and Pinkie Pie. That's what I'm going to start calling Chris, honey, because he want to wear those color blocking hoodies. Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony it is, child. So Paige says there's a disconnect. Okay. And then she says she wants to clear the air, and she says that they have to try. So then this idiot sitting down making a schedule. What are you doing Tuesday? So don't put me down for Tuesday. Well, can you ask him when time to go to hell? Can you ask him when can he fit that in? What time can you go to hell? Child gone. So Chris is giving her these times and things that he likes. What is on the schedule that you would like to do, Paige? What is wrong with all of these women? This is the pattern of every woman on this season. They are all conforming to fit these men. Eric has different political views. I am doing air quotes right now. He doesn't want to bend whatsoever. Bree is shrinking and dumbing herself down for Vincent and his temper tantrums. Then you have Ryan and Clara. Clara is not getting laid at all, and she's afraid to pipe up and speak her speech, which I don't understand why. And then you have Paige. Child, we already know what's going on over there. So he was like, don't put in Sunday. And she says, oh, you have a conflict? Your whole relationship is a conflict. Girl, what are you saying? Yeah, he got a conflict, honey. You got to check on that ex. So then she's like, well, do you play card games? Well, I know he play mind games if he don't do nothing else. He was like, no, I don't play card games. Child gone. Anyway, so then, what y'all should be playing is Uno. Reverse 2, draw 4, Uno out. Uno, you need to be by yourself. Numero uno. Child, getting on my nerves. Y'all getting on my nerves. So she was like, so he's like, I'm going to bring some food over on Sunday. She was like, so we just going to eat and look at each other? And then he's like, no, we're going to have Bible study and you're going to lead it. Okay, child, I don't have time for this. Let's move forward. Day 25 of marriage. We go over to Hayley and Jacob. Y'all know how I love my Jacob. Hayley claims she wants to try. Okay. Dr. Viviana shows up and asks, what is the state of your relationship? Hayley said they need a reset. Y'all stop using that word. Stop using reset. Because you really don't want a reset, Hayley. You do not like Jacob in the slightest. You need to just be honest. Everybody out here can see it through the screen. You're not being honest. And it makes you look bad, quite frankly, in my opinion. So Dr. V said, are y'all not communicating at all? And Jacob said that she went to Paige's lonely ass place and then told him that she might stay over. So Dr. Viviana skipped right on over that and skipped right on over checking her on that, on her coming home. You should have done like Pastor Cal did Virginia. You need to come home at night. Paige is not your spouse. Things are never going to get better if you avoid him. If you don't come home and you don't communicate, how are you trying exactly? By going out and buying them god-awful clothes and crumpling them up in that dollar store bag with that little paper you had sticking out of it last episode? Trying to change him? Girl, gone. So then Jacob said she went down there. Dr. V said, Jacob, have y'all had sex? And she said she had sex with him because she felt that it was what she should be doing. Child, she is Chris, honey. She is Chris all day. So then she starts crying because she didn't want to hurt his feelings. Hayley says she connects with people so easily, but she doesn't with Jacob. I'm going to hit you with a rhyme right here. Sure. Okay. Girl, gone. You don't look like you can connect with nobody but yourself. Hayley, you and those tears, suck it up, Buttercup. I don't want to hear it, okay? You're playing the victim when Jacob is the real victim. You are nothing but Chris the second. I don't want to hear, it's not up for debate. You are just like Chris. So Dr. V asked her if she's physically attracted to him. Then they take a dramatic commercial break. Child, what? We don't need a commercial break. We already know the answer. Child, just say no. So Jacob looking at her like, and what is it? Because he looking like, just go ahead and say it. Say what it is. Speak your speech. Let's hear it. So she was like, well, when I walked down the aisle, I wasn't super attracted. Same thing Chris said. She said, but at the time, I was doing most of the work. Girl, please, what work did you do besides lie to him in Vegas, come home, go down to Paige's apartment, act like you don't want to be bothered, tell him that you will not touch him, ride separately on the plane, come home, sleep in separate bedrooms, you act like you're two ships passing in the night, you don't talk to him whatsoever, but then you bring him clothes home to change him. When were you working exactly? Or am I watching another show? Girl, gone. So then Dr. V was like, so it's not him. It's actually the work you're putting in. Girl, okay. And then she asked him if they wanted to learn how to fix it or whatever, or how to make it work. And Jacob was like, yes, because he's so optimistic and sweet. And then she's like, well, yeah, I'm going to try. So Dr. V said they need to be communicating and be comfortable being alone. So she moved them to the bedroom, the last place they should be moved. So then they went in there and she's like, you guys aren't sharing a bed? Y'all ain't sharing a bed? So this is a mess. This is a mess. So Dr. V says she wants them to kiss good morning and good night. What kind of mess is that? Somebody has to convince you to kiss your spouse good morning and good night. She says that connection starts in the morning. Okay, as soon as you wake up. All right. He looked happy. She looked disgusted. Let's move forward. Eric and Virginia. So Virginia said they avoid conflict to avoid fighting. So Dr. V gets there. She said, we know that you guys are like, boom, you're in there. You're with each other. So Virginia and Eric both say that the physical touch is their love language. Eric says it's great. And, he's always saying, we're great. We're just great. So they keep pushing down the serious issues. So Dr. Viviana said, any topics you feel are like a mountain. So Eric said he'll meet in the middle, even if it isn't his viewpoint. Virginia says Eric and her dad have the exact same views, but she doesn't. What does that mean? Okay. Sounds political to me, but I ain't going into all that because I just got over being mad. So I'm going to leave that alone. But all I'm saying is, child, let me zip my lip. Eric says he has different views because he's from the military. Okay. He said Virginia is into social issues, but notice he didn't mention what he was into. Okay. Talking in circles. So Eric talking in circles or whatever. And then he goes, she's the problem. Mr. Rogers, hush. Talking about she the problem. Boy, gone. Anyway. So then Eric said, I know what I believe in and that's it. Virginia, honey, you in for a wild ride. I'm going to tell you right now. Eric said, I ain't changing, child. I said what I said and I ain't changing. So then Dr. Viviana says, well, are your kids allowed to have their own views? And then he said, well, I don't even know if she wants kids. She says she's 50-50. And if she doesn't want kids, then I'm out. I'm like, okay, well then set yourself off, honey. Don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you, honey. See you in the friendly skies. Boy, gone. So then we have Bree and Vincent. Vincent surprises Bree. He always does that after he messes up. That's like a pattern with him. It's kind of almost like they do in domestic violence situations where they do something and then they come back with a gift or something. I don't like this, child. So they playing some kind of game. Vincent got this Lunchable tray that he done went and put together with some whipped cream on the side. They're blindfolded and they have to do these dares or answer these questions. And if they answer the questions correctly, they get rewarded with food. Okay. So he puts the blindfold on first. So she dares him to pick her nose. Yuck. Then Vincent dares her to eat 2 pieces of cheese and whipped cream. She did that. Bree says she fully trusts him. Girl, please be careful. Okay. Oh my goodness, honey. Have you heard that Cardi B song, Be Careful? Please listen to the lyrics. Okay. So then Vincent reads a card that says, what is the one thing you would change? And Bree said, your head. He said, what head? I said, child. When I tell y'all I got scared because I just knew it was going to pop off. I'm like, oh my God, please say the right head. So Bree tried to diffuse the situation and she was all like, let me feel your hair. I'm talking about the hair in your head. Let me feel your hair. Okay. So then she asked him, what's the best thing you've done? And he said, married at first sight. Child, okay. I'm on the edge of my seat watching this. This is making my heart palpitate. My palms are sweating. I definitely don't trust that she's comfortable. Honey, she's scared to say the wrong things. Now we're on day 26 of marriage. We're back over to Clara and Ryan. Dr. Viviana shows up again in that same blue dress, honey. Looking good, Dr. V. Clara said she never imagined being in a marriage where sex is being withheld. So Dr. V said, well, what's going awesome? Ryan was like, well, it's just easy. Well, you ain't easy. She wants you to be a little bit more easier. I'm sorry. I'm going to do sex jokes every time I get to Clara and Ryan because that's the elephant in the room. Child, talking about it's easy. Everything easy but you. So then she asked, what are the struggles? Clara said, Clara couldn't wait to say what the struggles were, right? Okay, she was ready. She said, they aren't on the same page physically. Ryan says it's important to build without sex. I do agree with that to a certain extent because they are strangers. So you do need to build a foundation before you jump right in. But at the same time, if you're doing other things, everything but that, then this right here is some bull. Okay, that's just my opinion. Dr. V says, well, what about her? Ryan don't care nothing about her. He already sanctioned her to the garage with her crafting supplies, knowing the crafting is the only thing that's keeping her sane. He is so selfish. Child, don't let that little Mr. Good Guy act fool me. Honey, you're selfish. Ryan says, it's been 6 weeks. Once the foundation is laid, honey, she worried about getting laid. I don't want to hear nothing about no foundation. Dr. V said, have you ever been almost there or almost about to do it? And then Clara said, yeah. And then she said, well, how close were you to getting the foundation laid so you can get laid? Child, and so since she was asking Ryan that. So she asked, well, what's the percentage? Ryan's still stalling, looking like he don't have an answer. So then Dr. V says, when will you start to resent him, Clara? Right now. It feels like right now. So Clara says, I need a physical relationship for it to work. And Dr. V said, well, let me speak to Clara alone, honey, because she wants Clara to be in a safe space where they can get everything out that they need to. Clara says, if you're doing everything else, why not go ahead and do the do? Like, what are we doing? Everything except sex. So then Dr. V was like, so for you, sex is on a pedestal. And Clara said, yes. So she was like, do you think he's being dishonest about being a virgin? Clara says, oh. Now, Clara, this is how I knew you was lying, because when you said, oh, and then you came right back and says, well, I assume that's not the case. He said he had sex before. Child, you seem quite shocked. So I don't think he told you he had sex before. Just like you lied to us in the past and said that you were being very physical when you knew that you were not. Girl, gone. So Dr. V said, I will try to help him, and let him know and see where he's at. So Clara says she's never had a relationship that was anything other than sex. So you just been hooking up? I was confused at this. So then Clara said, even with long-term relationships or partners, it's just sex. It's not attached to anything special. And I think she's actually detaching herself from sex on purpose. Or maybe sex just doesn't mean anything to her. It's just the act of physically being pleased. I don't know. Maybe it's just what she needs. So Dr. V says, if the feelings are there, it may mean no. So then she tells Dr. V that if the feelings are there, it may mean more. Then we go over to Hayley, honey, because Dr. V is visiting with her alone. She checks to see how things went last night. They didn't go nowhere. Hayley said it's still a struggle with the attraction. And Dr. V said, well, let me read you this. So then she says, how picky are you? She reads her what Hayley put when she first went into this process. Hayley said, I pick them apart before I get to know them. And then I feel bad afterwards for picking them apart. And Hayley was like, I was attracted to those guys though. And then Hayley's like, I just want some fun and someone to compliment my lifestyle. And then she said Jacob is starting to change to fit her lifestyle. Girl, what lifestyle? I ain't seen you do nothing special yet. What's so different than what you do than what he does? Talking about to fit your lifestyle. Like you lay out on yachts all day. What are you doing that's so popping that Jacob is not doing? Please fill me in. Or are they leaving that out? Girl, gone. So then Dr. V said, just stop. It's not happening. Dr. V, just stop it, okay? It ain't happening. Jacob, run from Chris the second. We don't need nothing else. Cut off right away. Then we go over to Eric and Virginia. Virginia says she was thinking and they should have the hard conversations now. So they set this 5-minute timer. Eric said cheating for him is huge and everybody that he's ever been with has always cheated on him and that he doesn't trust other people. That's why he doesn't want Virginia with those guys. And I wouldn't trust that guy that pulled me out on that patio. I wouldn't trust him. Something about him just doesn't seem right. So then Virginia starts to be vulnerable and says that her parents fought over everything. So she cut her dad off to make her mom happy. And then so she wouldn't be in the middle. Then she started living with her aunt. And then she picked back up her relationship with her dad. And she says she's worried about having kids because she doesn't want to put them through that. And I totally understand that. That was like a really true vulnerable moment. But I don't really like Eric no more. After this episode, I really don't see it for Eric. So I really don't care what he's talking about. Eric said he would always be there. Eric, you're going to be controlling how the kids are being raised. No, I don't like that shirt. Well, she shouldn't go to the school dance because this is what happens. I said what I said. This is how I feel about it. I don't trust you, Eric. So, child, please. And Virginia, that eyeshadow is terrible. Did you do a finger painting class as a child? Honey, just dipping your fingers in that eyeshadow and swishing them around the top of your eyelids? Stop doing that. Then we go over to Chris and Paige, honey. They had some church music playing. I'm like, not the church music, child. This idiot brought her a bucket of chicken. Somebody, I brought Chicago to Atlanta. I brought you some Harold's chicken. Ugh, oh my God. She shows up for her to lead Bible study. Why you ain't leading Bible study, Pastor Dollar Bill, huh? Why you not doing it? So they sit down to eat. So she's like, do you want to pray? He's like, yeah, you do the prayer. She's like, you always want me to do the prayer. So then she asks for his hand. He's like, you hold hands to pray? Everyone holds hands to pray. You don't even want to hold a hand? Honey, I would have escorted him out right then. You know what? leave the chicken, honey, and exit. You don't even want to hold my hand to pray. Paige, pick up on these things. You're not paying attention. And then he starts smacking. This ain't no mukbang or mukbang or however you pronounce it. I don't want to hear you smacking. I don't even want to look at you eat. So then he was like, we're supposed to be doing a Bible study. She was like, well, yeah, well, what do you have prepared? He's like, no, show me what you have prepared. I fed you physically, now feed me spiritually. Oh my God. This boy is such a jerk. Okay, I'm really trying to bite my tongue. I'm really trying to, oh my gosh. So he starts saying some words, honey. I feel like he's playing with the Lord. So I didn't even listen to that part. I went and got me a always Coca-Cola. Okay, I went to go get me a drink. I don't have nothing for you right there because I didn't listen to him. So Paige said, what do you think about friends? Friends, Chris said he feels like it should be someone that you have a covenant with, someone that you trust. Honey, well, clearly you're not a friend, you're a foe. Okay. So then Paige brings up the baby. She said her having a conversation with him. She felt like having a conversation with him after she found out about the baby would push him off the edge. No, you should have physically pushed him off the edge of a building. Girl, gone. So then she said the Bible study was a good reset. Okay, little weirdo. Child, gone. Like, oh my goodness. So then Chris was like, speaking of baby, I have something to tell you. I'm like, let me brace myself because I know my stomach finna get ready to hurt. He gonna say, 6 years ago, my ex-fiance Mercedes had a wreck and it was really just hard for her to even drive. So, she's been taking ride shares, getting back and forth, and I wanted to ensure she had a car this week. So, I bought her a brand new, so I brought her a brand new Mercedes Benz. Well, it would take a BMW to buy a Benz. And y'all already know what BMW stands for. Body made wrong. But I just want to say this. If it's been 6 years, she couldn't have started off with a Ford Focus. Maybe a scooter. Honey, it could have been electric. I'm not saying one of the ones you push with your feet. Child, put on one of them and put one of them little helmets on and push on down there to the hospital. Why you couldn't take her to the hospital visits? You bought this girl a brand new Benz, but you brought Paige a bucket of chicken? Child, let's just let that sink in, child. So then Paige is just looking. So he says, how do you feel about that? Paige says, I get it. No man wants the mother of their kid to take the bus or ride shares, but a brand new car? He gonna say, well, why wouldn't I? I'm bringing a king or a queen into the world. They need a chariot. All right. Oh my God. Paige just shakes her head. Oh my God. Okay. Paige. Now, honey, I really want to speak directly to you, but I just really want to say that I need you to direct message me on Instagram after this review so that I can speak to you or speak on your behalf or something, child, because this is just getting crazy. You sat right there and let this man tell you that his kids need a chariot. Honey, and he brought you some fried chicken knowing your skin is greasy enough. Honey, your T-zones are all wrong and he up here bringing you chicken. That shows he don't care nothing about you, honey. I think this boy likes to evoke pain on you. Little dummy. So now we over to day 27, Jacob and Hayley. Jacob tell his Jacob joke of the day. I didn't brush my teeth, so I could try to sneak in a good night kiss. Boom, boom, child. Y'all know Jacob gonna get his joke in. I love me some Jacob. So Hayley said, oh yeah. In her mind, she thinking, don't touch me. So they get in bed. And Hayley says she doesn't want a divorce. Okay, that's great. She's saying this in her confessional. Then she says, what's your sleeping environment? Do you like it cold, no TV, completely dark? Jacob was like, I like it cold and no TV. Hayley said the same. Honey, at least y'all can agree on that. Now we're doing something. We agreeing on the way that we sleep. Okay, Jacob, I'm so happy you got your shirt on. Okay, because we don't want to scare Hayley away. She's really timid. Okay, so Jacob starts joking about cuddling. And she's like, whoa, buddy. She's like, hey, we just got into bed and thanks for wearing a shirt. Because, on the honeymoon, you were a little bit forward. So, baby steps, okay? Then we go back over to Virginia and Eric. Virginia got on a little lingerie. She has this rose petals all set up on the bed with a fruit tray. And then we end another episode watching them kiss. I'm side-eyeing you, Eric, after your social views comment. All right, so, child, I ain't even see it for this little scene. Goodbye, honey. And that concludes this episode of Married at First Sight, child. Listen, y'all listen to me. The fact that Chris came out of his face and said that he bought this girl a BMW for her to ride around in when there are plenty of used cars. Oh my goodness. Second of all, I know you leased that car. You didn't buy her anything full on, child. Now, I don't know your finances, but I feel like they're a mess. And I feel like everything you say is a lie and a front for the people out in TV land. For all of y'all, I hope that y'all can get this together. Let's see what next episode brings. This episode was a mess. It's always some madness every Wednesday night. Thank you all for listening to me. Thank you all for bringing me back. Because, honey, let me tell you something. Y'all almost didn't get this review. Honey, I was in my feelings this morning. I didn't appreciate the people coming for me like that. When I try to bring y'all the best of entertainment to the best of my ability, I even spoke to y'all through the winter storm, okay? And then these people down in the comments calling me all kind of profane names, calling me out of my name. Now, y'all don't want me to get ignorant. So it was almost touch and go there. But for my great people who decided to lift me up, I appreciate each and every one of you. We are going to be doing our Friday Night Live. It's always a party. Please join me at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I had to move it up because, you know, we be running long because we be speaking our speech, child. Thank you. Don't forget to don't hesitate to subscribe, like, and comment down below. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.